Israel, all sorts of countries that might have an interest in the outcome of the election and an interest in it coming out in his favor, regardless of what the majority of Americans want. Next thing, very quickly, demographic change. There has been a flip in the demographic fortunes of white America, such that in several states, the rate of death, meaning suicide, death from drug overdoses, et cetera, is exceeding the rate of births. Of the states where deaths now exceed births for white Americans, 13 of those voted for Donald Trump, and 13 of those voted for Hillary Clinton. 4 of them are states that flipped from President Obama in 2012 to Trump in 2016: Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Florida. Meaning that in states where white death rates are exceeding white birth rates, those states are starting to move toward the minority, toward the Republicans. Next, gerrymandering. There have been many studies that show, obviously, that gerrymandering is a system by which Republicans are protecting their power regardless of what the majority wants. But you had now the files of a gentleman named Thomas Hofeller, which were exposed to the country by his estranged daughter. On those files, he wrote a study in 2015 concluding that if a census question was added, a citizenship question was added to the census, it would enable Republicans to gerrymander and claim it's based on party, but he literally explicitly said it would enable them to prevent non-white people from gaining a majority, a power majority, that they could actually create a favorable condition for white people and Republicans by using the system in that way. So what I'll say is, to quickly wrap up, is that, you know, my parents are foreign, so I don't have this same sort of gauzy vision of either America's history or its possibilities. My father grew up in the Congo, which is also a system of minority rule based on tribe. And my mother came from a system in which the last president in her lifetime served for 24 years. No country is an eternal democracy. Democracy is extremely fragile, and multiracial democracy is so fragile, we're practically the only one that's pulled it off. My husband's from England. England has like 6% non-white people. This is a very difficult thing to maintain, and when you have a very determined minority, in this case, wealthy white men and wealthy white Christian men and Christian Americans who are of the fundamentalist variety, who are very clear that no matter what happens, if they have to pull the South Africa model to maintain power forever, they will do it. And they're not afraid of it, and they're increasingly open about it. And Donald Trump is merely the avatar for this. He didn't create it. He simply benefited from it. And I think the sooner that the majority, the actual numerical majority in this country, figures that out and stops treating these elections as just foregone conclusions, that you can fix it with just a simple election and that it will be fair, free and fair, the sooner that we will wake up and actually have majority rule in this country.